Good morning, children. We are back with our class today, and today our topic of discussion is forfeiture of shares. I repeat, forfeiture of shares. A new term coming for you for the first time in accounting. Forfeiture means to seize, SEIZE, or to cancel out the shares. Now, forfeiture of shares has a direct link with previous topic discussed by us, which was calls in arrear. Remember, the possibility of forfeiture is there only when there is calls in arrear. That means if any shareholder has failed to make the payment of any of the installments as we have discussed in the previous class. So if there is calls in arrear, the next step for the companies is to take the decision of forfeiture of shares, which is taken by a board meeting among the board members, and we are going to see how it affects our accounting treatment. So forfeiture of share means cancelling the shares for non-payment of calls due. Calls means it can be allotment, it can be first call, it can be second and final call, or it can be all the three. If any shareholder does not pay the amount due on call, which we have discussed in calls in arrear, the company may forfeit, seize. The normal English meaning is seize, and in technical words in company accounts we call it forfeit. Forfeit the shares held by him on which the amount of call has not been paid by that shareholder. And that company can do this cancellation, company will do only after giving notice to the defaulting shareholder, reminding him to make the payment of calls due. Even after the notice, if the shareholder does not make the payment, then the company takes decision of forfeiture. However, shares can be forfeited only if the articles of association of the company allows such forfeiture. On forfeiture of the shares, on forfeiture, the shares are cancelled and to that extent share capital is reduced. The amount already received by the company from such shareholder, or I should say defaulting shareholder, is not refunded to them, and the journal entry for forfeiting the shares is as follows, which is passed by the company. So now we are going into accounting entries on forfeiture of shares. So whenever we are forfeiting the shares, if our question is asking us to do so, we have to check whether that shares was originally previously issued at par or at premium. Remember our first video was on issue of shares at par and at premium. So before cancelling, this should be made very clearly understood that previously it was issued at par or at premium. So we're going to see under the first point forfeiture of shares which were earlier originally issued at par. At par. So for such case, the forfeiture entry goes share capital account debit to unpaid calls account to forfeited shares account. I will repeat this entry. Share capital account debit to unpaid calls account to forfeited shares account. Narration goes being dash shares forfeited for non-payment of dash. So children, this is an extra entry for forfeiture after passing all those entries under questions for allotment, application, first call and second call. So when we forfeit shares, we have to debit share capital account because capital will be reduced. This will be with the number of shares forfeited multiplied by called up value. I repeat, number of shares we are forfeiting. Suppose 100 shares are in arrear. So we will write 100 multiplied by called up value of that particular share. So suppose called up value is also 100. So we multiply it by 100 into 100. But suppose the company has not made due the second and final call, which is 30 rupees. I repeat, suppose the company has not made due the second and final call, which is 30 rupees. That means 100 minus 30, called up value will be 70. So number of shares 100 into 70 will be share capital account debit that time. To unpaid calls. Unpaid call means the installment on which there is arrear. Let us suppose the arrear is on first call and final call. So we will write to share first call account, to share second and final call account instead of unpaid calls. And if there is an arrear in allotment also, so we'll have to write to share allotment account. So this is credited with those installments which have not been paid by the defaulting shareholders. And finally, the credit will go to forfeited shares account with that amount which has already been paid by those shareholders. So if we have to make it easy, if suppose share capital account is debited with 10,000 rupees, unpaid calls is credited with 7,000 rupees, then 10,000 debit minus 7,000 credit will be 3,000 forfeited shares. This will be that amount which the shareholder has already paid, which is not returned by the company, because company is forfeiting those shares, and while forfeiting they do not make the repayment of the amount already paid. This is the entry explanation for forfeiture of shares which were earlier issued at par. Now we go into the second case, forfeiture of shares which were earlier issued at premium. That means at the time of originally receiving the installments, it had premium also. Here there are two cases. When shares issued at premium are forfeited, two following possibilities may exist. Number one, securities premium amount has been received by the company, or number two, securities premium amount has not been received by the company. Has been received, let us suppose the premium is along with allotment and the shareholder has paid application money, allotment money, but he has failed to make first call and final call. That means premium also has been received by the company from such a shareholder. But in the second case, suppose the shareholder is having arrear on allotment, first call and second and final call. That means the premium money has not been received, because I presume that the premium was due with allotment, and here allotment money has also not been paid by the shareholder. So when we will learn the forfeiture under the case which were earlier issued at premium, we have to take care of these two possibilities in the question. Now we are going to discuss the entries. So children, in the first case, when the securities premium amount has been received by the company, when we forfeit such share, this is the same entry which we have discussed in issue at par in the previous case. The entry is same which we have discussed in the issue at par case. So the entry is share capital account debit to unpaid calls account to forfeited shares account, being dash shares forfeited for non-payment of dash. Suppose there are 100 shares which are forfeited, so you will write here 100, and what is not paid is first call and final call, which together is, let's suppose, for 50 rupees, 30 for first call and 20 for second and final call. So you will write for non-payment of first and final call of rupees 50. Is this clear? So there is no change under this case, which was when the shares were originally issued at par. So when the premium has been received, the par forfeiture entry and premium forfeiture entry is exactly same. Now we move to the second possibility, which is forfeiture of shares which were originally issued at premium with premium money not been received by the company. So you can see here securities premium amount has not been received by the company. So there is only one addition. In such a case, securities premium reserve account will be cancelled by debiting it along with the previous entries which we have seen. I repeat, in this case, there is only one extra debit, which is securities premium reserve account. Rest debits and credit are same. So let us see the full entry. So we will again debit share capital account to reduce the capital. The entry goes share capital account debit, securities premium reserve account debit to unpaid calls account to forfeited shares account, being dash shares forfeited for non-payment of dash including premium. Let us say again we are forfeiting 500 shares, and in this case all the installments have been made due by the company, which adds up to face value rupees 100. So share capital will be debited with 500 multiplied by 100. 500 is the number of shares in arrear which we are forfeiting into 100 rupees, that is called up value. Suppose the premium was for rupees 20, then securities premium reserve account will be debited with 500 into 20. Unpaid calls account will include those installments on which the money has not been paid by the defaulting shareholder. Let us suppose there is first call on which money has not been paid. So we'll write to share first call account 500 shares into 30 rupees, and then second call is also not paid, so we'll write to share second and final call account 500 shares into 20 rupees, and whatever has been paid in the installment application allotment, it will be credited to forfeited shares account 500 into 50 rupees as per your question. So the difference between first is second is here securities premium reserve account is cancelled out by debiting it. And why I'm saying cancelled out, if you remember this account securities premium reserve account, when shares are originally issued it is always a credit because it's an income, it was always a credit. So for the first time when you're reducing the share capital, you have to debit the premium because it has not been received, which was previously already credited in our entries. So this is what is the entry for securities premium account which has not been received. Now at this stage I have to tell you one important thing. This to forfeited shares account, whatever amount will come here in this forfeited shares account is a gain for the company. Why I'm saying this is a gain for the company? Because that is this includes that amount which the defaulting shareholder has already paid, and the company is forfeiting this amount and not returning it to the defaulting shareholder, whereas the company is cancelling out their name from the list of shareholders by passing forfeiture entry. So remember, this two forfeited shares account amount will be a gain for the company whenever the shares are forfeited. So I hope you have understood our previous discussion on forfeiture of shares for issue at par and issue at premium previously. Now the next step to forfeiture of shares is always reissue of forfeited shares. Children, this would be the last discussion in this topic forfeiture, reissue of forfeited shares, which will also complete the maximum entries of the chapter. So after the forfeiture of shares, the company may decide to reissue those forfeited shares on the terms as it may decide in the board meeting. These forfeited shares may be reissued by the company at par, at discount, at premium. So let me discuss what do you mean by at par. Suppose the share which was forfeited is at face value rupees 100 and companies reissuing it at 100 rupees only. So it means reissue at par. But it is mostly seen that the forfeited shares on which the companies have already made a gain or profit, which I showed you just now in forfeited shares account, such forfeited shares are reissued at discount, which means the issue price is less than the face value. Suppose the face value is 100 and company is reissuing it at rupees 70. That means at discount. And when the issue price of such forfeited shares is more than the face value, it is known as shares issued at premium. However, discount allowed on reissue of forfeited shares, that means this discount which we have seen here, such discount allowed on reissue of forfeited shares should not exceed the amount forfeited on reissued shares. That means when you forfeit the entry, when you pass the entry for forfeiture, forfeited shares account credit amount should be the maximum amount which a discount should be given by the company, not more than that. Otherwise, in such a case, the company will have loss at the time of reissue, which they will never afford to bear. Now, let us see the accounting entries under all these three heads one by one. And for the first, at par, reissue of forfeited shares at par, the journal entry is bank account debit to share capital account. Suppose the share was of rupees 100 and we have forfeited 500 shares. So 500 forfeited shares reissued at 100 your bank account will be debited with 500 into 150,000 and share capital account will be credited with 500 into 150,000 reissued at par, being dash shares reissued at rupees 100 each. I hope this is clear. Now the second case, reissue of forfeited shares at discount. Suppose the face value and the called up value was rupees 100 and company is reissuing such share at rupees 70. So bank account will be debited with number of shares, let's say 500 into 70 rupees. Forfeited shares account will be debited with 500 shares multiplied by discount, which is 30 rupees. I'll repeat, bank account will be debited with 70 rupees, 500 shares multiplied by 70. Forfeited shares account will be debited with the discount 500 multiplied by 30 rupees. And share capital will be credited with 500 shares multiplied by rupees 100, 50,000 and 35,000 for debit, and remaining 15,000 discount will be debited to forfeited shares account, and this forfeited shares account is a loss for the company. I repeat, whenever you reissue the shares, forfeited shares at discount, the amount debited to forfeited shares, which is the discount amount multiplied with number of shares, is a loss for the company, and this will come further in calculation. Do remember this is a loss, and in the previous forfeiture entry, forfeited shares account was a gain. Now let us see the last case, reissue of forfeited shares at premium, which means the shares are being issued at a price above the face value. So bank account debit, let us suppose the share is being reissued at 105 rupees. Face value is 100 and reissue price is 105. So number of shares 500 multiplied by 105 will be the amount debited to bank. I repeat, number of shares 500 into 105 will be the amount debited to bank account. To share capital, it will be 500 into face value 100. Remember children, share capital can never be more amount than what is the face value. So face value being 100, number of shares 500, this will be 500 into 100, and securities premium reserve account will be credited with 500 multiplied by 5 rupees. So 100 for share capital, 5 rupees for securities premium reserve, and 105 for bank is the amount multiplied by number of shares. Narration goes, being dash, that means 500 shares reissued at rupees 105 each. So this is forfeiture when, sorry, reissue of forfeited shares when reissued at premium. पे कर्सर रख देना है ना फिर से. Now children, we have come to the last part of this topic, forfeiture and reissue of forfeited shares, where after reissue of all the forfeited shares, any balance amount left in the forfeited shares account is transferred to capital reserve account. This is a capital gain, so it will always be transferred to capital reserve account because being a gain of capital nature on forfeiture and reissue of forfeited shares. So the final entry of the chapter goes forfeited shares account debit to capital reserve account. I repeat, forfeited shares account debit to capital reserve account, being gain on reissue of forfeited shares transferred to capital reserve, being gain on reissue of forfeited shares transferred to capital reserve account. So suppose there was a gain of rupees 3000 on forfeiture of shares and there was a loss of rupees 1000 on reissue of forfeited shares. So 3000 minus 1000, 2000, the net gain will be transferred to forfeited shares account debit to capital reserve account 2000, being the last entry on this topic. So today we have discussed forfeiture of shares, reissue of forfeited shares under the three cases at par, premium and discount, and finally any gain on forfeiture and reissue will be transferred to capital reserve account. This ends this topic. reissue of forfeited shares. Kindly note down all these cases in your copy, study, understand, and then make a note of it to practice questions given in the textbook in the illustration as well as exercise. Thank you for ending today's class.